Okay. This is Brian, and I'm going to ask him the same questions that I asked Taria. So, Brian, how do you feel about the statistic that 70% of black women are single and 54% of black men are considered viable candidates, which means that they have not been in jail, do not have children outside of like a marriage situation, and they don't have a college education?
Well, I think it makes total sense when you look at hip hop and the culture that we live in. It promotes homosexuality. It promotes tight jeans. It promotes all these things that make men go in the opposite direction of straightness. And you have a society that, in general, has broken the male spirit. So it doesn't surprise me at all.
Do you think that that's just for black men or all men?
That's for men in general, but more so for black men.
Why more so for black men?
Why more so for black men?
Uh-huh.
Because it's been a plan to break us mentally from the jump. That's why we were slaves. It was because they broke us mentally then. And it's been passed down through generation after generation. If your father was broken mentally, as his son, you're 9 times out of 10 going to be broken mentally too. And you're going to feel inferior, and you're going to always do things to try to make yourself feel like a man, but you'll never be a real man. So most women that want a real man don't necessarily know what they want, but they know what they don't want. And that's the 70% that is pretty much out there hollering at girls all the time. So it makes perfect sense.
So how does a man, in your opinion, become a real man and break those chains? Mentorship?
Mentorship. That's the only way that a man can become a real man, is from learning from a real man. There is no book, there is no CD, there is no class, there is no institution that you can go to learn how to be a man. You have to learn how to be a man from a man.
Do you agree with having standards when you're dating somebody?
For sure.
What are some examples of your standards?
My number one standard is respect yourself.
Okay. So with that, do you think that it's okay to compromise when you have standards?
You have to.
To compromise your standards?
You can compromise without compromising your standards. Success in any endeavor is built on inconvenience. So in your relationship, the compromise is what makes things inconvenient. You have to inconvenience yourself if you want to move forward with that person. Y'all not the same people, so you have to compromise.
Okay. Have you ever been in a relationship with someone where you have compromised something?
For sure.
Was it a satisfactory experience or not?
I mean, some of them have turned out good, some of them have turned out bad. It just depends on which one you're looking at.
If you could say anything to black men who might be considered losers, as in they don't have a job, they don't have a car, they don't have goals, they're not really trying to get anywhere, what would you say to them?
Stop hanging around losers, because that's why you're a loser, because you hang around them.
If you could say anything to black women who are trying to find a guy who's not a loser, what would you say?
Stop going to places where loser black men hang out, like parties, clubs, places like that, because that's what's going to approach you. Successful men don't hang out in clubs, unless they're in the entertainment industry. Unless they're in the entertainment industry.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Brian.